Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to show you how to improvise piano chords in the Baroque musical style. So if you're a Bach fan or a Handel fan, you like your 16th century, 17th century keyboard music, we're going to have a bit of a jam session in the Baroque era. And if you're a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you should head on over to our website contemporaryschoolofpiano.com to get our free resources kit, which accompanies these videos, including this one where you will have a chord sheet of the chords that we're going to be looking at today. So I thought we'd have a bit of fun. We're going to get the classic jazz piece, Fly Me to the Moon, and we're going to play it in the Baroque music style. Fly Me to the Moon. So you might know that jazz tune. That one, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get those chords and we're going to give it the treatment that the likes of J.S. Bach or Handel would give these chords. And this is a really good way for you to understand your polyphony and your chords much more and ways of arranging it. It's a great way to practice your arpeggios. And did you know, back in the Baroque period, they used to improvise off lead sheets all the time. It's called figured bass. And it's a lost art in classical music. And I'm very passionate about bringing that art back because I think it's something people should learn to understand music better in a more holistic way. So there's so many benefits of doing this, and it's a lot of fun. So let's get the chords. These are the chords if we just quickly chord it out. C minor. We're going to do it in the key of C minor. We can do it in other keys, which is in the lead sheet, by the way. So you can try this in different keys. They're the chords, and it's good just to get your hands around those chords first, just by practicing it off the lead sheet. So the first way we're going to approach this, and it's amazing how such a full sound is created from the keyboard. And I say keyboard because this was traditionally done on a harpsichord. It creates such a full sound, and yet we're only playing in a two-part texture. It's something that jazz musicians would never dream of doing, in the way that jazz musicians clump up big sounding chords. To think that you can get such a full sound by having a two-part texture. So what we're going to do in the right hand and the left hand at the same time is we're going to play arpeggiations of the chord. Like this. So let's start with the right hand. Now the right hand, I'm using little shapes and configurations like that on my C minor chord. I can just practice going between the C minor and the F minor to start with. And my right hand is in quavers or eighth notes. It's going to go faster than my left hand. This is where just to start off with as a template. I can use different inversions and shapes and patterns, but I'm playing essentially the same chord. You know, F, C minor, F minor, B flat 7, E flat, D half diminished, G7, C minor. We'll just do that first part. There might be little variations to how I invert these chords, which you can improvise on. That's why it's so important to know your chords. But my rhythm is staying exactly the same. It's these sort of eighth note movements, these quaver note movements throughout the bar. Even though I might be using different inversions or arpeggiated variations, you can experiment with that and try it in different ways. That's my right hand. And just to stay in style, I'm playing the notes in a slightly detached manner. And that's very stylistic to the Baroque period. So my left hand, I'm really going to use the same approach. But this time I just have quarter notes. I mean, on some sheet music, these might be 8th notes and the right hand might be 16th notes. But the point is that the right hand's going double the speed of the left hand, or vice versa. We can actually do it vice versa. This is great for your technique and your arpeggiations. Because the bass line is slower, I might use more open positions in my arpeggios, like the 5th interval of the octave, and I've got the 10th interval of my C minor expressed in that way. My F minor, B flat major. But obviously in the spirit of Bach, he's going to do it slightly differently every time. He might do his C minor like this. He'd do his F minor descending. So you could do the chords in a ascending motion. Ascending, descending, ascending, descending, and so on. So as opposed to jazz, it's a very clean way to look at the chords. But where this is very beneficial to even a jazz student is the way it really makes you think about voicing and really working on getting a very nice voicing of simple chords as opposed to getting a nice voicing of complex chords where things get a bit muffled sometimes. When chords are so complex, we don't even have to think about the voicing sometimes as much because it sort of takes care of itself with complex 9ths and 13ths everywhere. The chords sort of melt into each other a bit more easier. But when we're forced to turn things back into triads and 7ths only, we have to think more about the voicing and the positioning and the arrangement. Really, really important skills. So let me put it together. We might get something like this. Let's do it again. I'm just going to explore a few more variations here. So yeah, it's quite funny to think that's the chords to Fly Me to the Moon, but it's not so surprising at the same time because lots of pieces from the Baroque period actually use this progression, this sort of circle of 5ths / circle of 4ths minor key progression was very popular in the Baroque period. So I place it as a reference of Fly Me to the Moon, but it's not precisely just that. It's a historical chord progression. It's really interesting how full that sounds just by playing arpeggios between both hands. And it's a really great technique to learn to improvise, and you can really have a lot of fun doing that. But of course, you can go a little bit further and do more things with that. And just a few things I was adding to that. My left hand was rhythmically matching the right hand at one point, and I even swapped the hands around. I had the right hand playing the slower, more steady pulse notes, while the left hand was going at the 8th or 16th notes, going double the speed of the right hand. So you can switch it around, and you can experiment with, things like country motion, arpeggio movements. It's building that flexibility, I think, in the arpeggios that's going to be the biggest challenge for many of you. That a flexibility to play. You might know your arpeggios well, but you're just so used to playing your arpeggios in a prescribed way rather than a flexible, free-form way where you are ultimately in real time having to work out what position to play an arpeggio. And if you need a bit of time developing that skill, just sit on one chord. Just don't change chord. I know it's not going to sound much like Bach. It's going to sound more like Philip Glass or something, but just spend some time at the piano, spend some time just getting used to the feel of that, because this is not easy to start with, So you could just sit there on that C minor, just getting used to the feeling of that chord. F minor. B flat. B flat 7. Dominant 7. E flat major 7, and so on. But I was staying on those chords for a much longer period of time so I could get more comfortable with it. And if you head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, you can get the lead sheet of these chords. So you can start playing around with them, and just like it's the Baroque period, you can start playing music based just on the chords that are in front of you. That was a common thing back in the day, and it's amazing how these skills have been sterilized out of classical music. It's a great shame, and I really want to bring these skills back to people's playing because I think they matter, and they make practice so enjoyable as well. And they're such a great way to learn your theory. And of course, you can do this in different keys. So on the lead sheet on our website, we've got this in C minor, D minor, F minor, D minor. So have fun with your practice, try some new things on the piano today, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.